Oh, that's real good.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel Penny Lesson. We talk about everything finance, from tips on making money and proper investing to news about the different economies and situations affecting the global markets. The goal of this channel is not only to teach you how to be more financially responsible but also to teach you how to be more aware of global events. So why not just sit back and relax while we tell you what's happening in the finance sphere? Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be constantly updated on my latest videos. Remember, one penny lesson a day keeps being penny less away. Since the end of the second quarter was 45 days ago, the 13 filings are now accessible. Therefore, portfolio managers must submit these regulatory documents to the SEC every quarter if they are managing at least $100 million in assets. It discloses its equity holdings, making its stock picks available to the public. This is a huge advantage for us investors because we can see what the wealthy buy and sell. We'll get to know Mr. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha and possibly the most influential investor the world has ever known, as we start the 13th season today. To learn what Warren Buffett thinks of the markets, let's discuss everything he bought and sold in the second quarter of 2022. For those who don't know, Warren Buffett doesn't invest under his name. He does it through his company, Berkshire Hathaway. Technically speaking, in this video, we're looking at Berkshire, an important distinction we'll discuss later. However, let's start with their financial reserve. Warren Buffett has previously been under fire for refusing to invest during the market's upswing, but that has changed this year. After the prior year, Berkshire had an astounding $143.85 billion in cash on hand. This amount dropped to $102.69 billion after the first quarter. The biggest news from the previous quarter was that he invested about $40 billion into the market. However, when the second quarter of 2022 comes to a close, we can see that his purchasing binge did not continue into April, May, or June. He currently has $101.34 billion in reserve. The remainder of his assets is invested, leaving him with around a third in cash. Even though it is known that the insurance sector has a $30 billion emergency fund, Buffett may still potentially invest a sizable sum of money in the market. Now that that is over, let's move on to the stock portfolio. What recent purchases and sales has Berkshire made? Before we do the big reveal, it's crucial to remember that we will focus on the top 10 holdings for the remainder of this video. Starting at the top of the list this quarter, Berkshire increased its stake in Apple, Chevron, and Occidental, decreased its stake in U.S. Bancorp, increased its stake in Activision Blizzard, decreased its stake in Kroger, increased its stake in Paramount Global, decreased its stake in GM, increased its stake in Celanese, McKesson, Ally Financial, and Markel, and decreased its stake in Store Capital. It's therefore intriguing that no new purchases were made this quarter, even though certain positions witnessed notable increases while others had losses, and Berkshire sold out of both Verizon and Royalties Pharma in Q2. Two big swings that have placed this quarter may now be seen if we narrow our attention to the top 10 holdings. Buffett increased Activision Blizzard by 6.35% initially. The statement made by Buffett last quarter that he was not buying Activision Blizzard for the long term made for an interesting discussion. Instead, he was making a short-term bet on Microsoft's acquisition strategy's success. In January of this year, Microsoft declared that it would acquire the gaming business for $69 billion, or 95 cents per share. If the deal is approved, all of those stockholders will be purchased for $95, raising the share price to that amount. The share price hasn't risen to $95 despite the announcement. It was approximately $80. There may be a temporary gap when a purchase is being considered, and there is some uncertainty. But at the moment, that margin is 20%. Buffett thinks the gap merits the chance of the transaction failing as a result. Therefore, Buffett's first substantial action in Q2 is the purchase of a tiny amount more Activision Blizzard stock, with an eye toward a quick 20% return if the transaction occurs. as the 16.26% addition to Occidental Petroleum and the 1.42% growth in Chevron are the next major talking points in this 13F. Buffett has been keeping a watch on the oil companies. The oil business has also seen a lot of short-term investment over the past year. The flow of oil around the globe has been severely affected. Buffett doesn't typically invest in short-term commodities deals. Therefore, something else is going on. We'll start with Western Petroleum, then. The news that Berkshire has boosted its position by 16% won't surprise those who attentively monitored Buffett's movements. This is so that the SEC would know Buffett was increasing his acquisition of Western in Q2, which he duly reported by filing 4 Forms 4. You must file this form with the SEC each time your ownership of a company changes and you possess more than 10% of it. As seen by his final Form 4 for the second quarter, Buffett bought Western Petroleum on June 23 for between $55 and $56 a share. Additionally, it provides a wonderful glimpse into the price Buffett is willing to pay for Western civilization. The amusing part is that we can already imagine him buying more Occidental from where we are sitting in Q3 2022. As a result, Berkshire owned shares valued at $158 million at the end of the second quarter. But according to the most current Form 4 filing, dated August 8, Buffett now owns 188 million shares, or more than 20% of the company. He has $10 billion in Occidental preferred shares and 83.9 million warrants. Buffett made some sizable purchases in the second quarter, but he also made larger investments in the third quarter. He automatically improved his Chevron position by 1.42%, so that's Occidental. As a result, at the end of the quarter, Berkshire owned 161.4 million shares of Chevron. Interestingly, this investment has grown over time from 0.8% of the portfolio to 7.8%, roughly equivalent to the initial sum Buffett spent on Apple. Because of this, Buffett is making a sizable bet, which begs the question of why he is funding the oil sector. Although he hasn't clarified his reasoning, he has a general sense of Buffett's views on his oil holdings. He, therefore, said in 2020 that the outcome of your investment in a major oil production company would be greatly influenced by the price of crude. None of your geology successes, great failures, or anything else will apply. It is an investment in money that depends on oil prices. The price of oil determines how profitable oil companies are. However, Buffett doesn't bet on commodities. 2015, he asserted, "We have not advanced in the oil and gas sector. Nevertheless, we have generated a modest profit." Why is Buffett suddenly interested in investing in oil stocks? To be completely honest, he doesn't seem interested in the first two quotes. Check out this saying from 2007. The fact that we own oil stock does not imply that we believe the price of oil is rising. Rather, it indicates that we think the stock offers great value at the current price. If we thought oil prices were going up, we could buy futures contracts, as we once did. Buffett admits he is not in the commodities forecasting business, but he can see a good deal when he sees one. And while I don't believe Buffett believes these oil names will soon enjoy fast organic growth, I do believe he predicts strong shareholder returns. Buffett, for instance, remarked that the Q1 results transcript for Occidental Petroleum, "I carefully studied every word and declared that I would be acting exactly as described. She is operating the company morally." CEO Vicky Holub is mentioned in the first sentence of the company's Q1 results announcement, which states that the Q1 announcements included a new shareholder return structure and higher debt reduction targets. Both of these companies distribute dividends and buybacks. Aside from that, if we go to Wall Street, we can see that these oil companies have very low price-to-earnings ratios and are undervalued based on Wall Street's discounted cash flow analysis. In any event, Berkshire's 13F filing's main argument is around the company's acquisition of the oil firms. They also made a minor addition to their largest holding, Apple, which is noteworthy since it reflects what Buffett thinks is the fair value, after decreasing in Q2. The last item in the top 10 worth highlighting is a 5% decline in U.S. Bancorp. So, what do you think of these picks? Do you agree with Buffett's move to buy them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Wow, was that news? Why not ponder it? Want to know the latest? Comment if you want more articles like this. This video is just one of many videos on my channel that brings you the latest news about the world of global finance and economics. So go hit that subscribe button if you don't miss out on content like these. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Thank you for all your support, and I'll see you again next time. Remember, one penny less a day keeps being penny less away. Cheers.